This College World Series and UFL Championship edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, aka Shark Dog, listening to SGP and let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Almost had the equivalent of getting had at the office with the volume up on the speakers and the porn website.
Really? What were you getting into over there?
It wasn't porn, but it was a website that I thought I needed to mute, and at the last second I rushed to right click mute site. I clicked unmute and I was like, oh no. Fortunately I was able to close it in time.
Oh, we almost heard Ryan's photo finish live race starting.
No, it actually wasn't that. I would have been proud to discuss my digital ponies. Having a great season. Thanks for asking. Slide into my DMs if you want to hear more.
Joining us to talk all things college baseball and the UFL Freedom Cup, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
The best time of year for college or for the sport of baseball. Let's go. How about that?
How about that?
That's about as. Will you be watching more baseball or soccer over the next month?
Baseball easily.
Okay.
Not even
Sean.
close.
Let's see if that's. Let's see if we can track that. You know, there's soccer on all day during the day.
There's baseball on during the day too.
Not enough. That's baseball. Really,
Sean's been hot on.
We've shit on baseball a lot, but. And maybe it's just because I work in an environment that's dedicated to sports gambling and has 8 TVs mounted on the wall. It's very frustrating to be at work and not have any day baseball to bet on.
You're talking MLB though. College baseball does a great job of daytime baseball.
That's true.
No, I'm saying, and I think again we'll get to it when we bring on Noah here in just a second. I think that's a big part of why the sport has taken off. It's easy to access, it's easy to bet on, and that's really all you need for a sport to help you grow, especially a niche sport like the Major League Baseball.
Well, they've also kind of leaned into fun a little bit. They come in and out of like allowing a little bit of fun.
Are you talking about College World Series or MLB?
Just college college baseball has influenced change in Major League Baseball, in my opinion.
I like where your head's at. All right.
Although they both are still just, fodder for the off season.
Couple things to get to. Shout out to last week's Patreon Pick'em winner, Matt Freeman. Catch a $100 gift card. And
I know that name.
Future congrats to this week's winner who will win the summer prize package. It's basically an excuse to show off the koozies. So we got Sports Gambling Podcast, SGPN koozies, more designs hitting the merch store. So you're going to be getting some koozies. You're going to be getting a tank top and ask me about my third leg parlay swim trunk. So great prize package there.
I need to get a pair of those.
Yeah,
just when the kids are hanging out at the pool.
Oh, perfect! Perfect conversation starter for Stadium Swim. Or Ryan, I imagine you're supervising some of your teenage daughter's pool parties, walking around in that swim trunk.
She's hanging out with the boyfriend, like they're in the hot tub. You know, 100%. I'm getting in that hot tub with the ask me about the third.
Hey guys, don't mean to step in here. All right.
What do you think about this weekend? You got 3 legs? Dad, stop it.
All right. We got this week's edition of Real Men of Degen, and then we'll bring on Noah. Oh, wait. Wrong sound cue.
SGPN presents Real Men of Degen. Real Men of Degen. We salute you.
X user Patrick J. Hoffman hit me up saying, I don't know if I can enter myself for Real Men of Degen, but my son Robert took his first steps tonight. Like any true Degen, I saw this sign from the gambling gods and searched for someone named Robert to back with a bet. Nothing was happening. There's no Roberts in the NHL, so I looked at Homer props, where Lewis Robert cashed a home run for him. Chicago White Sox. Chicago White Sox ended up losing the game in hilarious fashion, but didn't matter for this Robert, who cashed a +410 homer prop on Lewis Robert. Baptizing his son in gambling. So congrats to you, Patrick Hoffman, for getting your son started and winning this week's edition of Real Men of Degen.
Starting him off with a home run prop.
Yeah, wow. I mean, already in the derivative market. Love it. Joining us on the line to talk dingers and so much more from the college baseball experience, Mr. Noah Bieniek. Noah, let's get started. Ryan is concerned about his Clemson Tigers. What do you think their chances are of winning the College World Series?
Yeah, that was a rough weekend, and it comes by the hands of my Florida Gators, to say the least. That was just awful because now I'm either rooting for fandom or rooting for money, and it's like the worst / best spot to be in. And also, Florida was my preseason national championship pick. It's just the way the draw came out, but it's terrible. That's the second straight year that an show completely ruined Clemson's postseason.
That was a crazy way to go out.
It's weird. I only got the Clemson pick. I didn't get the Florida pick before the season.
Well, the Florida didn't have any value.
Only got the Clemson pick.
The whole game was a fucking joke when it came to the umps, in my opinion. Like there was a little dust up with the pitcher.
It's been a tough week for me between what happened with my sweet California Redwoods. I'm sure you're not even up to speed with this. They just chose to not review a play they could have reviewed. Clearly went off the guy's helmet.
Arena League?
No, this is PLL. Much more important than that. Lacrosse, Colby, get with it. But then Clemson goes out like that, and they get walked off on their own field, which is the comical element of college baseball. I don't know what to do right now. I haven't shredded the ticket yet. I'm still in disbelief.
No, we're going to talk College World Series, but do you have any strong handicaps when it comes to who will win most Jello shots bought? I feel like this is a market we've broken down over the years, but of course, what is it? Rocco's Jello shots, where you can buy. And again, shout out to this guy. What a fucking genius. You're charging $5 for Jello shots, which there's a nice margin on those Jello shots, and you're incentivizing people to buy. It's really, I mean, hats off to him. It's a genius marketing move. We're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it.
You want your school to lose? Don't be a pussy.
ESPN shows the chalkboard.
Yeah.
What school is coming home with Rocco's Jello shot champion?
It's not even a school. It's Big Blue Nation. I mean, they're going to be, they should be chalked to win this thing. -250, -300, maybe even larger. It's their first Omaha appearance. I would like to think that Big Blue Nation, with how negative they've been about their basketball team recently, and the football team is a little bit above average, but it's nothing close to second best team in the country. I think they're going to show up and show out, and they'll be able to drink themselves into a W here in the Jello shot challenge.
I have a theory on this.
Lock up Kentucky. What do you got?
Well, the Kentucky one I think is obvious, but because their fan base hasn't had success in a while in basketball, and they just look for a reason to party because you're in Kentucky. But they also
you got a dark horse.
There's Bourbon Trail right there, so I could also see them being like, you want me to do a sissy Jello shot? You know what I mean? But then they probably get so drunk that they probably be like, "Oh, give me that sissy thing," right? But I feel like there's a few
as a bourbon connoisseur, putting down some Jello shots, not super high on your list, but when in Rome, aka Omaha, you soak up the local cuisine.
I'm just saying they're known for mint juleps and just bourbon, and that makes me think that don't underestimate the state of Florida.
I got odds.
Where'd you get the odds, Carm?
A former friend of ours.
Oh wow, okay.
I can't confirm that they're offering them, but one of their traders posted odds on Twitter. So Kentucky +250, Vols +250, A&M +375, UNC +1500, Florida State plus 2,000. Are you not aware of what Florida State?
I believe they're called Saudi Arabia State these days.
Florida State, though, they are known to have a low bar and a lot of consumers down there in that state. NC State also 20-1. Florida,
actually, that pussy pack. Look, how many? I've been to a lot of college dorms where I feel like it was like the girls throwing the party, and they were the ones that always make the Jello shots. So the pussy pack coming into Omaha, come on! I mean,
and then Florida
do
25-1, Virginia 50-1. That's hilarious. You suck, Virginia. I mean, you. It's obviously correlated, but some of these schools down the bottom know how to put them back, in my opinion.
Well, the state of Florida shouldn't be.
Florida State should never be an underdog in drinking.
Florida State at 20-1 feels like
Florida. I think both.
Van Wilder, aka Bert Kreischer, went to Florida State. I mean, come on, they know how to put it down. And then NC State, I think they're still hungover from that Final Four run. They could certainly rally.
They're going. It's a revenge tour for NC State too after 2021 when they were disqualified.
Well, is DJ
testing.
Burns going to be doing shots? Because if he's doing shots, that's a large capacity.
They got Applebee's,
the vending machine.
Yeah, he's got a deal with the the margarita.
You seen he's lost 50 pounds?
No, he's not going to play offensive tackle.
Weird.
Drop
he only weighed I think he was listed at like 270.
Wait, so you're telling me he got the NIL deal from Applebee's and he lost weight?
Yeah. Is he going to be the next Jared from Subway?
He's like me. He understands. He went there.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The early Jared. I know Colby was a huge fan of his late work. I disagree. We got to get DJ Burns holding his pants up.
He went there one time. He's like, I'm done eating. That was it. At one time, and he was done eating.
No, but another thing you want to factor into the handicap, I think, is you got the teams the fan base that'll be there longer. Like if you think one team's leaving early, you know that could really hamper. Now we know Virginia, even if they go far, they're not going to be. Just eliminate them from.
Virginia's finished in the bottom tier for they've been there 3 of the last 4 years. They've been in the bottom tier every single season.
Yeah, they Jello shots aren't their thing.
You know what?
It stains their white.
Charlottesville's like one of the biggest wonders in America to me, because you go there and you can't even find a TV to watch. Like there's no such thing as like a sports bar or a bar where you can watch like live sports. Every bar I went into in Charlottesville was like, what are we doing here?
It's a library.
Right? Yeah, it's just a strange place. Like even like the cities you would think, like San Francisco's not a big sports town, but you go into San Francisco, at least they still got sports bars and stuff.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're just rich. They just like
Colby.
competing.
That bar was called the Locker Room, but it was not a sports bar. I can tell you that. I know. You
used to be the hung jury, right?
I know you thought, hey, let's check out this sports bar called the Locker Room, and then you get a towel you can snap.
And I did order the Jello shots that night. No hands, right?
I'll take a jumbo Frank, please. All right. Okay, I agree with the chat. I see Crutch in here. Florida State at 20-1 has to be played. High stakes snorkeler. Love the name. Florida State fans highly motivated with the college football playoff snub. Yeah, I love the narratives around the Rocco's Jello shots.
Yeah, I think you just got to identify. They do have to be like which fan base, if the team's not there the whole time, might stick around.
Yeah.
Kentucky. That makes sense, right? Like you already paid for it. I mean, how much is a hotel room in Omaha too?
What do you think, Kentucky?
Are we looking at 75?
I'm sure they jack it up this time of year.
Yes.
This is like their big time to shot. I mean, in the off season, aka every other day in Omaha, I'm sure it's pretty reasonable.
If you're going from Florida State, it's a vacation. So you're committed. You've already paid for that hotel room.
I know some people that book their hotel in like February, March, and it's like high 300s, and right now it's like mid 750, 850 for your run of the mill hotel.
They call it the reverse spring break, going from Florida to Omaha.
Oh, wow.
All right.
As the bird flies.
All right. Enough messing around. We're going to get into some picks. Before we do that, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. If you're looking to create your own projections when it comes to NBA player props. Obviously, NFL player props right around the corner. Rhythm has you covered. You're gonna enjoy it. Free 7-day trial. We just had one of the Rhythm guys on, James. Very fun episode talking NBA Game 3. They got not only NBA, WNBA. They got golf stuff. U.S. Open happening. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, again, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data, without you needing to endlessly scroll through a sports book. It's really cool. You can just have them create the models, or you can create your own. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM to get started today. All right, Noah, 8 teams in this thing. We got Virginia, UNC, Florida State, Tennessee, NC State, Kentucky, Florida versus Texas A&M. Let's just talk big picture here. You got ACC versus SEC. What are your big picture takeaways here as the tournament really heats up?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are, knocking down this field of 8 because, only 2 of the 30 conferences are represented here. But I do think this sport is still growing, and the best way for this sport to grow is to feature the best talent and the best teams on the biggest stage. And I think that's what we got here with 7 teams that are ranked in the top 16 entering this NCAA tournament. And Florida entered the preseason as the number 2 overall team. And they were your bubble team. It's a good story. Now they're on a run. They're in the College World Series. This has happened in 2022 with Ole Miss, but it's also just the fun narrative. And the Gators are a power program that could do a lot of damage here. I think all 8 teams, I always say this every single season. If you get to Omaha, you have a chance to win the national championship. You win your regional, which is the same double elimination 4-team pool play format like we do in the 2 brackets here in Omaha. And then the next stage is a super regional, which is a best of 3 game series. And that's what your national championship finals is going to look like. So I think all 8 teams have earned their way here. It's not like they've received an invitation to a 4-team playoff. And, whether we have 4 ACC, 4 SEC teams, it don't matter. We've got 8 teams that earn their way in, and they all have a chance to win the national championship.
I like that, Noah. The teams that made it to the College World Series do in fact have a chance to win the national championship.
Well, so I guess Florida would be the quote unquote Cinderella at this point, being
correct.
Being the highest odds, but like you said, they were pretty chalky coming into it. Are they the Cinderella? No.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of public attention going to these Gators. You look at the lines that opened up today at DraftKings. The early movement, the biggest movement has been on Florida against Texas A&M. I think there's a lot of. We'll get to that game lately, but so I think Florida is the public favorite right now. The biggest story, and that's probably going to get a lot of the Omaha locals to adopt them, is NC State. Just the way they were screwed in 2021. I think a lot of people, just casual fans, are willing to adopt that team once again because they were sitting in the driver's seat in 2021 College World Series, and this year they're a team that's really hot. They've won 16 of the last 21 games, and NC State's rolling right now.
0-2 against ECU.
Wow.
We believe. Real quick before we get going, I'm seeing DK has a line: College World Series winning conference, SEC -195, ACC is +160. No, if you had to choose a conference right now, is there any value in ACC as a dog here?
I do think this conference is hungry, but I also think they're feared and scared to death, mainly because Tennessee, the number 1 overall team, joined the party in the ACC bracket. So there's 3 ACC teams in the pool with the number 1 overall team this season. And NC State's the one on an island with 3 SEC teams in a pool. The ACC has won national championship since 1958. It was Virginia in 2015. This conference is looking to end the serious drought, and what better chance to do that than against the conference that's won 9 of the last 13 titles, 5 of the last 6, and they've had 11 teams in the national championship finals in like the last 8 years. Like they've literally had SEC versus SEC in some of these finals recently. So ACC is looking to prove a point. Last night when we were talking on the college baseball experience, I had an ACC team winning. Mac had an ACC team winning. Colby had an SEC. But I just think there's better value in just picking out one or two of your favorite ACC teams and playing them straight to win the national championship versus the entire conference.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's get to it. Bracket number 1, we got Tennessee, Florida State, UVA, Kramer's favorite, UNC, Virginia, North Carolina, first game on the board. What do you got? What are we doing? I saw our thumbnail was UVA pitcher who's just been lights out. Kramer, I know, is we're gonna get him a giant wahoo for the office, whatever a wahoo is. Noah, break this game down for us.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Jay Woolfolk, who's on the thumbnail, he's been incredible lately, but he's not going to appear in this game. It would be Monco, a left-handed pitcher for Virginia. He has been their best pitcher all season long, but North Carolina's offense is tremendous. They have a 124 WRC plus, which is one of the best in the country, and against left-handed pitching, it's a 1039 OPS, and against right-handed pitching, it's 948. So the splits are incredible against left-handed pitching, and this is one of the best lineups in the country. Their entire lineup hitting over 280. 6 of them have a batting average over 300. 4 with an OPS over 1,000. The 1, 2, 3 in the batting order is the best in the College World Series, in my opinion. Vance Honeycutt, Casey Cook, Parks Harbor, all bat 1, 2, 3 with 26, 18, and 20 home runs each. I really like North Carolina in this game. Let's lock it up.
Ooh, minus 140 over on DK. UVA plus 110 coming back the other way.
Did you fill out your WRC plus?
Yeah, I
got an OPS.
May need a translation. WRC. What are we talking here, Noah?
It's weighted runs created plus. So basically, it's a percentage against the NCAA landscape. So 100 is average, and North Carolina currently 124. They are 24% better offensively than the average NCAA D1 team.
It's basically like DVOA offense.
Colby, I know you like to fancy yourself a baseball sharp. Do you have a play on this game? I'll trust Noah and take UNC.
I will not trust Noah.
Oh wow!
All right, look, he mentioned Jay Woolfolk's not pitching, but he is a former Virginia quarterback. I trust football players playing baseball.
Yeah.
No, but look, you don't have to look further back than April 4th.
You're picking UVA.
UVA's beat Carolina 2 out of 3 times, and I just think they're the better
North Carolina
team
was on the road. What does Colby say about teams on the road in college sports?
You got those white sheets for Colby?
That's pertaining to college football and basketball. All right.
Hey, Patty,
you know,
you get Colby's white hood,
especially in Charlottesville. You're telling me there's a home edge ever in Charlottesville?
And the pitchfork.
Tiki torch.
I think the Wahoos are the better team, and I think that they're the better coach team as well. So I'm going to take the Wahoos to get it done.
Late game on Friday, Florida State versus Tennessee. Florida State Seminoles plus 140. The Vols laying minus 180. I mean, to me, immediately I'm on FSU here, getting that Rocco's Jello shot heat. But Noah, what do you like?
Yeah, I think this is the most intriguing first round game that we're going to see on Friday and Saturday. And the game breaker could be Jamie Arnold on the mound for Florida State. He's their ace. He's the best pitcher remaining in the field of 8 teams here in the College World Series. Jamie Arnold, a sophomore left-handed pitcher, is 11-3 with a 2.77 ERA. He has 155 strikeouts, only 22 walks in 100.2 innings. Going up against Tennessee, it's going to be a tough challenge. I mean, Tennessee has one of the best offenses as well in the country. They have 5 regulars in the lineup batting over 310 with an OPS over 1060. A guy that won the SEC regular season Triple Crown, and Christian Moore. 4 draft picks, or 4 probably first round draft picks in this year's MLB draft. The big question is whether Tennessee's power is going to be able to play in Omaha. It all depends on kind of the wind, where it's blowing in or out. And Tennessee plays in a shoebox ballpark, whereas Florida State, I think their pitching and defense is going to be able to play a little bit. And you look at the head coach of Florida State, Link Jarrett. He was the head man of the 2022 team that knocked off the Tennessee team that grew this sport completely, and they were the Mad Men, one of the best teams ever created. And Link Jarrett and Notre Dame went into Knoxville and knocked them off. So I think this guy's got the recipe to beat Tennessee. And with their ace on the mound, I think the Seminoles are very live to win this thing. So I'm also betting this one.
Let's go. Chop, chop.
I am
Kramer, you on Florida State?
I mean, it's certainly the narrative. I do see that Tennessee's social is pushing people to consume Jello shots, so they are working it from all angles.
Last year they were very disappointing in that challenge.
Yeah. It does seem like they're trying a little hard. I mean, certainly if we're gonna play the 20-1 on Florida State in the Jello shot challenge,
come on,
we got to do it, right?
Yeah, get a taste. Colby, are you sticking with us? Or are you going contrary?
No, I can't take Saudi Arabia State. Give me Tennessee.
Wait, why are they Saudi Arabia?
Because they were broke and they went to private equity and got a bunch of money.
Wait, so are we also calling Texas A&M
Saudi Arabia State?
Okay.
They're Saudi Arabia Tech.
Yeah, they gave it's actually I read the details of some of it.
University of Saudi Arabia.
So Texas A&M
fighting sheiks
essentially has given up 40% control of the controlling interest in what they research, which is insane.
Yeah. No, but guys,
it doesn't feel very American.
Tennessee's been the best team in baseball this year, and you look at the guys that have been getting it done. Jake Rucker Park been hitting the hell out of the ball. He's got like 55 RBIs this year. The bats are just too hot in Tennessee, and look, a lot of these guys were on that team a year or two ago that that pissed off all of the baseball world when they would hit home runs and have the fur mink coat, the Ric Flair energy, the BDE I like to call it. The Vols are going to get this done. They're just the better team.
I'll help Colby out too with his angle. They do have the experience here in Omaha. They've been to Omaha in 3 of the last 4 seasons. But Florida State's they've got the magic story on their hands.
That is true.
Mike Martin, their legendary head coach, passed away this January. And he had led this program. He had led this program to 44 straight NCAA appearances. Link Jarrett, the head coach of Florida State, played for him. And last year they snapped the NCAA tournament streak. This year they're back in the NCAA tournament. This year they're in the College World Series. They're looking to win it all. So
kicking over to Saturday, the Pussy Pack, NC State +114 on the money line. Kentucky, Big Blue Nation -145. Big Blue Nation, big favorites here. Noah, who do you like to get the dub?
I'm going to take Kentucky here. They've kind of been my team that a lot of people have hated. They've passed the eye test to me completely. If you're the co-champ in the SEC, you're a very, very good team, and a lot of people still continue to just doubt them because they don't excel anything with the sticks at the plate or on the mound, but they consistently get that clutch hit. They run the bases extremely well. They're not afraid to lay a bunt down, but they can also hit the long ball. They're 19th in steals per game. Tied for 38th in WRC plus with a 117. Nationally, they have the 13th best fielding percentage. And Kentucky plays a different style of ball than everybody else in the SEC. A lot of teams in the ACC, they have a bigger ballpark than many of the teams in those two conferences. They're well suited to play here in Charles Schwab Field. They're able to manufacture runs in a lot of ways that teams aren't without hitting the long ball. You look at just a sequence of 3 plays against Oregon State in the super regionals. They lay down a squeeze bunt. They score on the squeeze bunt. Oregon State doesn't get an out. Then the next very pitch, they steal third. The catcher for Oregon State throws the ball away. And the next pitch, the pitcher makes a mistake and it's a home run. Kentucky they're able to beat you in many different ways. NC State's hot, like I said earlier in the show, 16-5 in their last 21 games. A big reason for that has been their bullpen. They have a tremendous duo or tremendous trio of relief arms that are all freshman, sophomore, Jacob Duden, Derek Smith, Cooper Consiglio. Those 3 guys have combined it for a 2.36 ERA in their last 21 games here. So that trio is something to really keep an eye on. But Sam Heifel, the starter for NC State in this game, probably was the guy in 2021 that kind of orchestrated all the chaos. He pitched well against Arkansas to get them into the College World Series, then pitched well, out-dueled Jack Leiter in the College World Series, and got NC State into the driver's seat of that bracket. He has the Omaha experience as well. He's a graduate senior, I believe, and he's going to be trying to go out with a national title. But I think Kentucky is able to bring a lot of the new energy, and the Big Blue Nation's going to be able to show up, and they're going to propel the Wildcats to win here in round 1.
This is awkward too. I mean, it's Kentucky went from being a basketball school, maybe a football school, and now they're a baseball school.
They can't figure it out. I'm with Noah.
Confusing.
I'm gonna keep riding the Cats. Colby, how say you?
Yeah, look, NC State, they always choke, and this is the point. They just right now their fan base is starting to believe, and it's a perfect time for Ryan Waldschmidt to come in and hit a few dingers. Kentucky's bats are good, like Noah alluded to. Their park is big. They're used to this moment, and they're Kentucky. You know, their fans are going to be traveling. I think just in general, Kentucky's a school that does get up for the big game. NC State folds like a lawn chair. So let's take those Wildcats to get it done.
Do you think will Kentucky have the biggest crowd?
I think so.
It does seem like this.
Tennessee might.
Like let's pack up the house and go to the World Series.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff. Yeah. I kind of just want to be contrarian. Just take the dog in all these.
Really?
Yeah. After just listening to all
even
the discourse,
UVA,
except for UVA.
Oh, okay.
Except for UVA.
What are you doing, Ryan?
Oh, like I said, I think I'm going to take the dog here.
Okay, NC State. Lock it up for Ryan.
When's the last time you seen a pack of wolves lose to a Wildcat, Colby? You watch a lot of
Feels very cat on cat crime. Last game of the weekend, or at least of this available slate: Florida versus Texas A&M. Gators plus 150. Texas A&M biggest favorite on the board, minus 195. I mean, instinctively, I'm going to go with the Cinderella Gators. Chomp, chomp, chomp. But Noah, steer us in the right direction here.
I'm going to steer you kind of away from the public narrative. The big elephant in the room, the first one at least, is Braden Montgomery. The top prospect for this year's MLB draft from this team of Texas A&M, suffered a broken ankle in the Super Regionals, and a lot of the discourse and narrative around Texas A&M is, oh, what do you know? Like the offense is going to struggle here in College World Series. They put up 15 runs against Oregon. I don't think that's an issue. The replacement of Montgomery is Caden Kent, who just happens to be former MLB MVP Jeff Kent's son. So Kent blasted a grand slam against Oregon in game 2, a game they put up 15 runs in. And the Aggies offense is going to be just fine. They have 7 hitters in the lineup that have a batting average over 285. Gavin Grahovic and Jace Laviolette at the top of the order have over 20 home runs with batting average over 305 and OPS over 1030. And they do have one of the best pitchers in the College World Series entering this tournament. It's Ryan Prager. On the season this year, he's 8-1 with a 2.53 ERA, 113 strikeouts, 19 walks, and 85.1 innings. And Florida, I just think they're going to end up starting Liam Peterson, who's their freshman right-hander. He's their starting pitcher down the stretch. But I just think that the moment's going to be too big for the freshman against a really solid lineup in Texas A&M. And just there's a lot of swing and miss on Florida. What nerves me is that earlier this season, Florida was able to get to Ryan Prager, but that was on the road, and Prager on the road has a really bad road split compared to how he pitched a neutral site and home games. I think Prager, after a rough start against Oregon, where he only went 1.2 innings, is going to come out pretty motivated because he's going to need to go deep in this game. Texas A&M's starting rotation has a huge hole. Both they're looking for a game 2 and a game 3 start after Shane Sedeo's injury. Prager understands the assignment here, and I think he's going to be able to go out and get it done. So I think A&M, I think it's a solid, they're the largest favorite on the board in round 1. I think they're a solid money line parlay, whether you want to take it with a Friday game or wait for the Sunday lines to come out and take Texas A&M money line with a Sunday pick in a parlay. But that would be the way I attack this game.
To me, the Gators have the horseshoe up their ass. I'm going to keep riding it. At the plus 150. I know the educated analyst. I see your case on Texas A&M, but the way they won, the way they took down Kramer's Clemson Tigers, that is a team I don't want to fade, especially in a parlay.
And then you add in the fact the way they lost last year, getting all that, they went to the championship game and lost. And then, have you guys watched this guy Jack Caglione?
It's a great name. Great name.
He's a made guy. He's a made guy.
Yeah. He's
the disrespect. He was left off the
Yeah.
Golden Spikes finalist list. Like 3 guys all aren't here in the College World Series, and Jack Caglione doing it on the mound and the plate. Like he's the last one remaining that should have been on that finalist list.
He's like Ohtani.
I love looking at this roster because they got Caglione. They also have Coppola on the team.
Oh,
I mean, they're just going Pierce.
Which, by the way, nice use of the word cunt instead of Kent earlier. No, that was good. Also, when you brought up Jeff Kent, it reminded me of the time. I'm sure everyone read Sports Illustrated and Riley's like back cover article, but do you remember when Jeff Kent like went after Barry Bonds in it? Quote, on the field we're fine, but off the field I don't care about Barry, and Barry doesn't care about me or anybody else. It was like a big deal. It led to like Jeff Kent being a bad boy for a little bit. So shout out to Jeff Kent's kid. Anyway,
Kramer,
we're taking
in on the Gators,
of course.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
So yeah, and I was trying to figure out they're not super liberal with like say parlaying all the games together, but I'll have to figure out a fun way to maybe round robin all the twos, because I'm going to do UNC, Florida State, NC State, and Florida. Oh, you know what? It's just going to be a Florida parlay. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, Florida State, Florida.
Yeah, that's the move.
Florida country line.
Wait,
I like that.
A Florida parlay and a North Carolina parlay.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay. Florida State of Mind. Of course, everyone's going to be subscribing to the College Baseball Experience, getting you ready for the College World Series. The countdown is on. Noah, what is your lock for this 4-game slate?
My lock's going to be North Carolina against Virginia. I think they've got a tremendous matchup advantage over the left-handed starting pitcher for UVA. So give me the Tar Heels loaded lineup there. We doing dog too, or are we waiting on a second?
Give me a dog.
No. Yeah, go for it.
Dog's going to be Florida State. Take down the #1 overall team, send them into the loser bracket right away.
Like that.
Love it. Kramer, what do you got? What's your lock?
I don't want to. Why I'm going right after Noah, and I'm going to do this. You know what? To be different, because I agree 100% with Noah. Which, by the way, you can even. I'm seeing they have Final Four exactas in here, which is, which is pretty fun. Oh wow. Okay. So if I did the Florida teams and the North Carolina teams in a Final Four exacta, 50-1.
Whew.
So put North Carolina and Florida teams in the Final Four as my dog at 50-1.
Okay.
And my lock, we'll say we'll do a Florida State, Florida parlay as my lock.
Ooh. Sunshine State.
Yeah.
Parlay.
The Sunshine State parlay.
Colby locking the dog. What
Sunshine
do you got?
had a hell of an arm.
The lock,
underrated.
The lock is the Kentucky Wildcats -154.
What?
Yes.
You just agreed with me.
No, I just thought
you fucking helped name the parlay.
What do you mean? They're playing NC State. They're not playing. I said the Sunshine.
Oh,
State.
okay.
I'm
you're
taking my dog as the Florida Gators +158. Let's go, Gator.
Yeah, I'm with Colby. My
Is that what they
dog
say?
is Florida at +150, and my lock is Florida State +140. And your lock for great college baseball coverage, the College Baseball Experience, hosted by Noah Bieniek at Noah B77 _.
Before we let him go, two things, Noah. One, will you be doing Jello shots every night when you're on the show to hopefully get your name up on the board as a entity with the College World Series? And then, don't we need to make him give us a winner?
Oh yes, no. Who wins it all? Futures.
I'll take you
to. You got to make him do that.
I'll take you to North Carolina to win it all. +750 on the Tar Heels. I talked a lot about them earlier when we were doing the game handicap, but I think this is truly one of your best offenses. They have a really good bullpen, 3 reliable arms back there, and they're starting pitching. Albeit they're not going to blow you away, but they pitch to contact very well. And this is a huge park, and they have a great defense. Back-to-back ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Vance Honeycutt, out there in center field. He's going to be able to run down a lot of the warning track bombs that all these teams are trying to hit out of the park. Honeycutt's going to make so many warning track catches. I really like North Carolina. In this bracket, I do think they're going to get some help from Florida State knocking down Tennessee into the losers bracket. But even if North Carolina gets Tennessee in game 2 up against Drew Beam, who he hasn't been as sharp recently, in the last couple of appearances, he's been knocked around. I do like North Carolina to be sitting in the driver's seat at 2-0 in bracket 1. And in bracket 1, you'll have an extra day of rest advantage over bracket 2 if you're able to take care of business. So I like North Carolina quite a bit here. You can also get the bracket winner futures on Bet Rivers. So North Carolina to just win bracket 1 is plus 300. But I'm actually going to take you to bracket 2 for some futures here. I like both Kentucky and NC State. The favorite here is Texas A&M at minus 110. I just don't think the Aggies are going to be able to pull it off with one starting pitcher and a couple of question marks after that. So I think your best bet is Kentucky. I think they're the most solid all-around team on the right side of the bracket, both with pitching depth and a solid lineup that's going to be able to play in Omaha. But I think NC State's lineup is tremendous. It's packed with left-handed hitters that all can hit for power, and they are rolling right now. And NC State, albeit the starting rotation's not tremendous, the bullpen has been outstanding recently. I think they've got a great chance to come through the losers bracket and meet up once again with Kentucky in this bracket final after playing each other in game 1 here on Saturday. It's
a very specific prediction. I like that.
Yep.
Noah, keep up the good work.
Wait, so are we going to get NC State? Are you saying NC State's going to take on North Carolina?
I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky, North Carolina to end up being the final, but I do think NC State's got a solid chance to be in the final. But I just think Kentucky, the way I've got it, the Cats will be 2-0, sitting in the driver's seat, and they've got 2 chances to win that game against NC State to get to the finals. So I'll go with North Carolina over Kentucky as my championship.
NC State versus North Carolina in Omaha would be electric.
Look out. All right, Noah, thanks a lot. Make sure you subscribe to the College Baseball Experience.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yep, appreciate it. Noah. And of course, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Get in over there, get the deposit bonus, and the pick special. They got plenty of pick specials, new ones every single day for the pick 'em. They have a ton of bonus offers, and I know Noah just recently did a video. They have them going for College World Series. They also have them for the Euros. We just did a Euro episode with Billy Bahade. I know the Premier League Game of the Podcast guys, Boz and Mal. They are also going to be giving out Underdog Fantasy picks for the Euro 2024. And of course, last but not least, UFL. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Speaking of the UFL, yes. The Freedom Cup is here.
So happy, Sean.
I mean, let's look at the. Of course, it is the Stallions versus the San Antonio Brahmas. But just a real recap to just highlight our domination of the league. Kramer 60% overall, 78%.
Wow.
On your locks.
Wow.
I came in at 56% overall, 70% of my locks. Colby 60% overall, 67% on our locks.
I ran you down in the lock category like a great middle distance sprinter.
Yeah, you finished 4-0 on your last. Ryan, you haven't gotten a lock wrong since week 6, all the way back in week 6. Of course, the Discord plays, aka fading our consensus play 7, 12, and 2. So our consensus play 63%. Just
nice job, guys.
Again, domination of the United Football League. We'll see, hopefully comes back next year, maybe with some new management, couple different rules.
Just fire UFL Jeff, please.
Hopefully UFL Jeff no longer with the organization. That guy was a piece of shit. But as predicted, we're sitting on our Birmingham Stallions.
Before you do that, I think we should. Is there time for a little bit more touting? Because
always time to tout.
Sean, if we go back to week 1, we did it when we started this. Before we realized, when we went undefeated, you and I, by the way, 8-0, both lock and dog hit. We also gave out a couple futures.
Okay.
We gave you Birmingham plus 300.
Yep.
Which probably feeling pretty good about that. But we also gave you San Antonio
14-1.
Suck it.
And
we dominate these spring football futures every year.
I know it's. I don't even really want to give out a pick for the game because we got the Brahmas at 14-1, Ryan, and the Stallions at 3-1. And
find me better CLV. I mean, why did we bet the entire rest of the season? We should have just loaded up.
It was pretty dumb. As the league is kind of dumb, but again, it's football. You can bet on it. Stallions are laying 3 versus the San Antonio Brahmas in St. Louis, which they're playing the Freedom Cup in St. Louis. Fortunately, the Battlehawks couldn't get there. San Antonio, the Brahmas, Wade Phillips. First time, how many years Wade Phillips has been coaching? This is his first championship.
I think it's like 50 years. He was a GA
insane.
at Houston. Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, when you make decisions to start Rob Johnson over Doug Flutie and Tommy Maddox over John Elway, you might need your head examined.
You're not happy about San Antonio being here, right?
To clarify,
I mean, they were the better team last week.
He was the graduate assistant back in 1969. Been coaching since then, which is an insane.
It's a long time. He's old.
Yeah.
So yeah, Colby, you're unhappy that San Antonio is representing the XFL conference?
No, they
deserved it, right?
Out of the XFL, sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think Arlington was pretty good, but
pause. Give me the power. Final. All right. And as of right now, we haven't played the championship game. Give me your UFL power rankings, starting with 8.
8 would be
Brahmas.
No. 8 is Memphis. 7 is Houston. 6 would be DC.
Okay. They really fell off.
5 would be. This is where it gets tricky. 5 would be I guess Arlington you got to put in there, but I mean their offense is pretty fire.
The best offense spring football's ever seen.
But so I guess you got to go Arlington just because they were a team that just you never knew if they're going to show up, and you got to grade on that. And so 5 them. 4 I will put St. Louis.
Okay.
3 I'll put San Antonio. 2 I'll put Michigan, and 1 I'll put Birmingham.
Nice. I like how you had to sneak San Antonio outside the top.
Well,
2.
look to CJ's credit, like he's been saying like watch their defense. They have owned the line of scrimmage like the past 3 or 4 weeks. Are they a gimmick team? 100%. But I'll tell you this. I would have power ranked them a lot higher all year had they just gave the ball to Anthony McFarland. Good idea to do last week. 11 carries, 115 yards. 1 touchdown.
He's good.
He's the best player in the league.
He's an NFL player.
Well, it drives me crazy. Like this, he's better than everybody on the field, and they never go to give him the ball. I don't understand the league. I don't understand the purpose of the game. You know what I mean? It's like when you watch Randy Moss with the Vikings. You're like, can you imagine if they just gave him like 1 target a game? You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what they've done with Anthony.
You would not be happy.
Yeah.
If you gave Randy Moss 1 target a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so but I mean, could San Antonio and the horseshoe they have up their ass, could they actually take down Birmingham?
Well, again,
this is a tiny spread.
They beat Birmingham, but it was in a useless game for Birmingham.
But Birmingham has played a lot of useless games, and they were down against they were down against the Panthers early. They turned it around, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth because I do like the narrative of San Antonio shocking the world here, but then on the other side, it feels stupid to fade this Birmingham team, which only has lost 1 game in 17 straight.
And who
games.
was it to?
Yeah. San Antonio.
It was to San Antonio.
Revenge. So genius coaching by Skip Holtz. Now they have a revenge spot. To me, this is the most obvious. And you know what? Let's go see how much I can bet on this game because it's
Kramer max play.
It's a max play. Birmingham.
Birmingham.
-3? Are you kidding me, Sean? We've been waiting for this moment all season.
I'm not gonna get cute and overthink it. Lock it up. Birmingham Stallions ride into the sunset.
Yeah.
Win another one.
Lock that up with Birmingham, but also the over's gonna cook. Over's gonna cook.
41.5.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Sean he's proudly come out as a totals guy, not me. Call me conservative and an old school guy, but
hit the over on 3 of the 4.
I like
with
having
the CFL this past weekend. You know,
why are you crowbarring?
Check out the CFL gambling podcast.
What does that have to do with anything, Sean?
Well, their season's just getting started, and you guys are cowards that don't want to do a weekly show.
Should I beep this out?
Yeah, no, Colby, promote if you're gonna crowbar mentions in crowbar and mentions of the college football experience. 134 team previews.
That I was gonna do that next. I go through them all. All right,
don't
and the college
to the
basketball
Canadian
experience.
stuff.
The CFL gambling podcast though is fire. So hop on over there, check that out.
Ooh.
And let's go.
All right.
It is. I mean, you can't take San Antonio here.
No, I guess their defense is interesting, but Birmingham has just shown they're the dominant team.
Now Skip
they
Holtz
have so much experience.
Skip Holtz did announce that Adrian Martinez is the starting quarterback. He was the MVP of the league, but he did look like shit last week.
Yeah, what do you think that was, Colby?
You know, the past couple weeks he's looked a little iffy. Here's the thing: when you like San Antonio's D line and Michigan's D line was able to do this, they got after him and he made him feel uncomfortable. And he's a kind of a runner first, thrower second. Corral's the opposite of that. Corral's got mobility, but he's a passer first. Once they put Corral in the game, I don't think Michigan had prepared for that. And then well,
that is a nice ace up their sleeve because Corral coming in off the bench, that's easy. And then maybe they have Martinez in there for. Normally the 2 quarterback, you have 0 quarterbacks, but that doesn't apply to the stats.
They have a third one because he won the championship in the USFL, Jabbar Smith. That's actually better than probably half the quarterbacks in the league. Yeah,
that the rule of 2 quarterbacks only applies when you're talking about the top, like the NFL.
Yeah,
because once you get here, they're all the fucking same. So if you have 3 guys that are all competent, you're golden.
All right, lock it up, Birmingham Stallions. And again, we dominated the UFL. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the UFL. Get in on some underdog picks. Colby was going to tweet out his underdog entry for the Freedom Cup, aka the UFL Championship.
A lot of great edges in the spring leagues, man, with the yardage and stuff. Sometimes, like even in DFS, you'll see you're like, why the hell is this guy rousted? Like, and McFarland will be like $3,000 or something. You're just like. They haven't done the homework. It's not like the NFL where every number is super sharp.
Well, and especially too like with the split quarterbacks, like a lot of that not necessarily factored into the projections. Those lines will be dropping late.
You don't think people are putting their optimizer CPU cycles towards the UFL?
No,
hasn't been solved yet?
I don't think so.
The UFL draft blocks that.
Yes, no fun.
I have some questions since this is probably the last episode we'll be talking about the UFL, maybe ever. Will it be back next year?
I would say -200. No,
it just drew a huge number against the NBA
Colby,
finals. Yeah.
You were touting all the other spring leagues that failed their ratings before, right?
True, but they weren't owned by a TV network.
All right, stay tuned.
Yeah,
Colby, what would you set the odds on UFL return?
That's actually genius, though. If the league is cheap, now this actually helps explain the Ponzi scheme. Sean.
Crazy tax write-off.
If it's a cheap enough asset where you are actually just able to, you're making money off the time it's filling on your network, you're not losing anything. And so you would need to do as little as possible to keep it floating because it's actually something generating revenue through being so cheap.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if more stuff, not necessarily football, but just other leagues happen based off of.
And you wouldn't be well. We've been talking about this for a while. The idea that content platforms owning leagues, gambling platforms owning like come watch the fucking whatever league on DraftKings, that all makes sense. But the idea that you would be trying to do just enough, like there's no incentive for the owner of the UFL to invest in the UFL.
Yeah,
because the product is good enough. It's football. That's what they realize. They realize that shittiest football is still football, and we can sell ads for it, and so we can still make money off of this crap, and we don't have to invest in the actual league. And so we'll get. I know this guy named Jeff. He'll do a great job. When
he's failed at every other stop.
He's literally broken every other company he's worked for. We throw him into the mix. This thing will be golden.
No, but I think dude.
Think about how much.
What was that? 1.3 million views at the same time as the NBA Finals. That's pretty impressive.
We always joke about how impossibly sad it is that these sports books are failing. Like, how do you fail at being a bookie?
Yes.
How do you fail football? How do you fail at football? It's football. So you slap a guy like. Football is so easy to be successful at, and all these fucking shitty leagues fail. Why? They're trying to make money before they're popular.
I also think they try to be the NFL, and I think that hurts you because you're not going to have Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? So you need to be a little more creative.
What's been the most successful spring league?
The original USFL.
The Arena League?
Showtime, Mahomes.
No, he's talking about the USFL in the 80s.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying why not the Arena League? Wasn't it around longer?
It was around, but dude, they're like broadcasting on YouTube and shit. You know what I mean? Like they're they've struggled. They've been bought a few times. I think they had seasons where they didn't play. I if anything, man, you might want to say the original NFL Europe.
Yeah,
that was like 15, 16 years or something going. You know.
All right. Well, you know what? If we don't see the UFL next year, it's too bad. We'll have fun. We'll have something else to talk about.
Remember, #UFL Jeff sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for participating in the.
We got that football league going on. Hal Mummy's starting up. You guys know about this?
No.
Oh, let me just break this down for you guys because this one's got real potential. All right.
What do you mean? Fan controls coming back?
No, dude. This is this is headquartered in Mexico.
Oh,
the IFA, right? 3 Mexico teams, a bunch of Texas teams, a Vegas team. Right?
Is this like what Charlie Sheen was pitching in Major League, where he was in the Mexican Penal League
like
before?
Kenny Powers.
No, I believe it's called. What is it called? I think it's the IFA.
That
something like that. IFFA maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like the Tom Cruise, the Mission Impossible movie right there. All right, this is enough. We've given the UFL too much airtime.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
They didn't pay for any of this shit.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Mexican League. Oh my, this is crazy.
International Football Alliance. Let's go.
Kramer, let it ride.